Hello, everyone. Happy to be with you on this Friday, this special Friday. This is the of the pranic consciousness process. Happy to be with you. And it's also the one of the Easter gifts that we're giving because, as you see, this webinar is public, for everyone for now. It's our Easter gift. We're celebrating Easter here in Romania this weekend. It's the Orthodox Easter. We also celebrate the Catholic Easter, so it's all celebration for us. And I'm very happy to connect with you in this way. This webinar's theme is how to increase your pranic flow via silence and spending time in nature. We'll talk about the value of silence and how it can bring you benefits and awareness and centeredness, and how to practice it harmoniously so that you can bring more energy into yourself. We'll also talk about the values of nature and how to connect with it, and how to connect with the natural elements, and how to work with the elements of this planet so that you have the best of the benefits that you can have from incarnating here, because you have incarnated here, to have a party. It's not to suffer, it's not to learn, it's not to not even to evolve past a certain stage. Some of us were evolved enough. Some of us are just here to have fun, to enjoy, to play, to be happy about what's available on this planet. But before I go into the theme more deeply, for the new ones, I want to just make a, a few observations here so that you have the best of this webinar. So if you have joined on our webinar page via subscription, then you have and you're on your laptop, then you have a chat box to the right of your screen, and you can use that chat box to make comments or ask questions or whatever it is that you want to share with us. You can share there in your chat box. I also would be very happy if you would write your name and country as you join in, so that we know who we're talking to and who's joining, and it's a salutation form for us. um, so the chat box is our communication way, and it's an interactive webinar, so feel free to commune with us and to ask questions and to bring in your own knowledge about this, because we're very happy to learn from each other. It's not me that I'm teaching and the others are learning. It's a communion, and it's a mutual sharing. So use the chat box to have the best of this webinar. And please tell us what your maybe expectations with this webinar. What would you like to know or ask about this theme of how to increase your pranic flow and how to have more energy via silence in nature. So the chat box is to the right if you're using the laptop. If you're using the smartphone, then the chat box is below the video. So you can just scroll down a little bit and you'll notice that you have a chat box there, and you can use it for your comments or questions or whatever you want to ask or add to this webinar. There are people joining from all over the world. There's a Facebook page called the Pranic Consciousness Summit, where you can know all the news about what we're doing and where we are broadcasting or having live events. So you might want to like and visit that page so that you stay tuned to our news. And we'll also be sending you emails. If you subscribe via email, we'll be sending you emails about what we're doing next. Um, we are now preparing a pranic consciousness process in Marbella. So we're planning a 8 days or 7 days retreat in the south of Spain. So it would be awesome if you could join us. But I'm going to tell you more about this towards the end. And also towards the middle or the end of this webinar, we're gonna be having meditation together, a guided meditation where we tune into the natural elements of the planet, but also we tune into the Christed energy because it's the Easter time. Some of you maybe have celebrated the Catholic Easter. Some of you are going to celebrate the Orthodox Easter this weekend. Anyway, it's Easter time. It's the time where the Christed energy is very, very present here on this planet, is beaming in golden rays, actually pink golden energy in our hearts, in our cellular system, in our brains. We're imbued in this energy, and the reason that most people choose to fast in this time of year and also around Christmas is because with fasting or with eating less or with pranic nourishment, you can have more of this energy, into your body. You can absorb more, because you have more room. It's you're like a vessel or a channel or a tube, so to speak, an energy tube transmitter. And if you have more room inside yourself, in your body, in your gut, in your mental system, and so on, the emptier you are, the more you can fill yourself up with this energy that is now flowing through. And that's why we highly recommend fasting in this time of year. And we highly recommend intermittent fasting. And above that, we highly recommend pranic nourishment as much as you can so that you benefit more on this energy. For those of you who do not know what pranic nourishment and pranic consciousness is, I'm going to also share a little bit about this because it's important to clear up the terms that we're talking about. So, those of you who are completely new to this subject, when we refer to pranic nourishment, we are referring to diminishing the amount of food that a person is intaking and increasing the amount of energy that the person is bringing into her body. And that's a way of being nourished on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, and so on, spiritual, and so on. So the energy that we bring in through specific exercises and practices can also nourish us at the physical level. And there are now people all over the world that are practicing this lifestyle and this way of nourishing themselves, and they are thriving. They are healthier than ever. They are more energetic, more powerful than ever, very intuitive, very, very good healers, and they are living an extraordinary life because they have chosen to they have chosen to intake more energy and less physical food, and to practice the lifestyle and to have the spiritual practices that are actually helping us be in a heightened state of consciousness. And that brings me to pranic consciousness, which is beyond eating or not eating, beyond the physical food that we're using. It's a state of being, even beyond the state of mind. It's a state of being where we're in a very deep, profound communion with the universal energy, with the divine force, if you want to call it this way, with God, if you want to call it this way. I call it in all three ways. So all of them are correct to me. And you're so deeply infused and immersed in this energy that you are operating at your highest and best self. And that encompasses the way you're eating, but it goes way beyond it. It goes into the way you relate to people, the way you relate to the planet, the way you react or act in your daily life, the way you interact with your environment, your city, your country, the way you master your mind, your emotions, and everything else to a higher degree of awareness. And that's pranic consciousness. Once in that state of consciousness, also, of course, your food intake changes. You are becoming more aware of your body, more aware of its needs, and more aware of the reasons why you're choosing food for. And from that state of consciousness, which is called pranic consciousness or being one with prana or life force or energy flow, from that state of consciousness, some are noticing that they are not hungry anymore, or they are not craving anymore for things, or they are not into a state of permanently searching outside of them for things, from nourishment to affection to emotional comfort and so on. So it's a heightened state of consciousness. It's an increased state of awareness. It's a state of being one and with all, and being aware of this overall connection that we have. That's pranic consciousness to our perception, into our definition of it. And we have chosen to call this process, this set of webinars, the pranic consciousness process, because we're referring and it's leading us to a heightened state of consciousness, to a more aware state of consciousness, instead of just helping us eat less or choose a certain spiritual practice. It's offering all the tools that one might need to raise the vibration, to increase the frequency so that you can operate from your highest and best self. That's why we're calling it this way, the pranic consciousness process. And it's called a process because it includes 8 webinars or 8 workshops. Each one of them is offering a specific theme that has to do with a certain practice that you can include in your day-to-day life to synchronize your energy fields better and to harmonize your relationships, your career, your perceptions of others, and so on, so that you are more you are happier, healthier, and of course more aware of your body and your general state of being. So the tools that we're offering in this process are not only for changing your food intake or diminishing your food intake, are far beyond that, are meant to take you into a state of consciousness where you're in your own self mastery and you're so connected and so deeply imbued into your center that you can literally choose the reality you want to be in and create it consciously and in harmony to everything else around you. That's pranic mastery. The 8 webinars have been offered in live streaming and recording for several years now, and we're also offering live retreats of the pranic consciousness process. So it's an ongoing teaching that we're offering, and actually a collaboration with all the pranic people that we meet, because you're teaching us a lot as well. So that's in a nutshell what we're doing here. That's the webinar that you've joined. The webinar that you've joined is the eighth part of the pranic consciousness process. So the 8th webinar, the other 7 ones we've had so far. And tonight we're talking about how to increase your pranic flow by using the natural elements and tuning into the natural elements and into the heart of Gaia and tuning into your center via silence or mauna, which is a simple but powerful spiritual practice. Those of you who just came in, who just logged in, just feel free to use the chat box next to or below the video, depending on where you're watching. Feel free to use the chat box to commune with us. Write your name and country, to just say hello and join the crowd here. And feel free to ask any questions on this theme or whatever you feel called to comment about the theme of the night. Okay, and speaking about nature, even though I've had a very, very busy day today, I'm very aware that I have to keep in balance my mm, work with my fun. So I alternate the activities during a day. I consciously alternate the activities during a day so that I can have this balance. Because I often had the habit of overdoing things. There's a lot to do, in our lives right now. There's five or six projects that we're taking care of, all in the pranic realm or healing realm. There's a new book that was just launched. There's a lot of new collaborations. There's three festivals that we're preparing for all over the world. So I'm going to let you know about them soon in this webinar. There's a lot of other events that we're joining or participating too. So I could say there's a lot in my head, but not really, because I'm not keeping these things in my head. I'm keeping them in my agendas here. And the rest of my life, I focus on just being and just participating to life in a conscious way by feeling more alive each and every moment and vibrating with life. And how I do this, for example, today, between the healing sessions and the other things that I've done for my job, I chose to plant new flowers and to be in nature, to be outside and actually play with dirt and, water and bulbs of various types of flowers and seeds and honor this important day that is, before Easter by seeding new things into our lives and also into our garden. And I've noticed how my energy has shifted, from after I went away from the computer and went about the city to solve different things. And when I started to touch the ground and put my hands in it and dig in it with various tools and plant seeds and plant the bulbs and add water and mix all these elements that are meant to bring the energy of something springing out. Mixing all these elements has brought so much life, so much prana into this body that no food that I know of could bring. And just by being outside and playing in the dirt for half an hour, not much, because I had to start the webinar after that. Just by doing this, I completely shifted the energy of this body into a more alive, more vibrant, and much more joyful vibration. And I highly recommend, if you do not have a garden, if you live in an apartment or something, just take flower pots, or you can even take some old tires, car tires, and fill them up with dirt and plant something there and take care of these plants, take care of that new life form that you've just created by your contribution, and see how much this matters in your connecting to your own body and to your own energy flow by grounding something into literally the body of this planet. It might sound simple or trivial or just unimportant, but I'm just telling you, don't think about it, don't rationalize it, don't think I've done it before and it's not so fun. Just do it. It's springtime, it's new beginnings time, it's sprouting and seeding time. Just do it. And let me know in an email or a comment after that. Let me know if you felt something different, because I'm telling you, it's the right time to put your hands and your feet into this earth and creating with it and using the elements of this planet to create new realities and new life. And the very process of planting new seeds, literally new seeds into the ground, is doing that. It's all interconnected. What you put in the dirt is also the physical representation of the energy sprouting of new projects or new themes into your life. It's physically manifesting before manifesting. It's a little magic, if you will. So I'm not going to go much deeper into convincing you to do it or insisting or so on, but I'm just telling you, just do it, and you can choose whether to listen or not. But whenever I do things in this way, and whenever I connect to the natural elements in this way, I'm telling you, miracles happen in this body. It's a lot of energy that is circulating in the universe now, and it's trying to circulate through your body as well. Why one of the reasons why it might not go through as smoothly as we might want is because we're spending too much time into some concrete boxes, our apartments or offices, and in front of the technology devices, computers, laptops, and so on. And it literally blocks the pranic flow in our bodies. I know it's trendy to use your phone every couple of minutes. I know it seems important to reply each and every comment or email or chat box or that you are receiving right away. There's this emergency pressure that these cell phones and these technology devices are bringing into our lives, that to some of us are a way of stepping away from the state of presence, which is not that beneficial for our spiritual or divine spirit in a human body experience. So on regular basis, you might want to step away from these devices and these gadgets and to put them aside. Nothing is going to crumble apart if you're doing that. And your friends are not going to abandon you forever if you do not reply every comment every single minute. You can set your own boundaries in terms of communication, and you can let your friends know that maybe you're not a Facebook addict and you're only visiting Facebook once or twice a day. And once you make that announcement, your friends will know that there's no emergency for you to answer, and they'll wait. I mean, all my friends know that I'm checking my emails or my Facebook account or messages every once in a while. And the rest of the day, I'm literally working with people one on one without using the phone. Or I'm literally working out in nature with portals or with mountains and waters and so on that do not require technology. And I'm actually not using that in those moments. And they all know that. And I'm a little weirdo in this fast paced technology society, but still, I'm keeping my pace because it's a path to health. And I encourage you to do the same. Remember when we were children and there were no computers and no phones? I love them. I'm very grateful that they exist now. I actually have three of them next to me now. But and one in front of me, two in front of me. But that's my office. But then we have to know when to step aside. from the tools that we're using, and not make them rule our lives. That's the most important thing, and the most important step in connecting back with nature, and connecting back to into our bodies, and being present into our bodies. Because what usually the social media does, and the devices do, is they disconnect a little bit our attention from our bodies. And some of the people that I know with this technology devices, they literally enter into a zombie state where they sit at the computer, and after 3 hours they, or 5 hours, they rise up and they didn't know what they did, and they don't know how their energy has flown into their bodies, and where did it go to, and they feel depleted, and they feel blocked around their abdomen and waist, and they feel unfocused, and so on, unable to focus, unable to connect with people, and so on. Because they lose their awareness while using these types of devices. I'm not encouraging you to throw them away, or to, have bad judgment about them, because they are so wonderful and so useful. And it's thanks to technology and devices that we're able to now chat to each other and connect, and that you are able to find out about this webinar and so on. But what I'm saying is, be in your mastery and consciously choose when to touch them and when not to. And I was in Spain in a gathering not so long ago, last autumn, with some wonderful pranic people and pranic colleagues and so on. And I've noticed how much of a of a discomfort this is to people. I mean, literally, I was having uh, advanced spiritual teachers, or personal growth teachers around me, and healers, and people in this field, in the holistic field, that are were literally sharing their struggle with stepping aside from their electronic devices, and they were sharing that they have to do certain techniques, like choosing the farthest reachable drawer to put their laptop in, so that they wouldn't take it out that much and use it, or to have some rewards for not using Facebook for half a day, or things like that. And I was surprised and amazed and shocked and amused, and also a little frightened by the impact that this has on the lives of some very conscious people. So I'm also aware of the impact that it has on the people that are, not so conscious, or not so diligent in their spiritual practice, or in their personal growth and so on. I know this is overwhelming. And probably you think I'm insisting too much on this, but it's the main reason why we're not so much in contact. People are not so much in contact with their bodies and with nature. And these two things, bodies and nature, go together. And I was sharing in my last interview with a TV show that actually the planet is a living organism, a living body. It's not a ball of dirt floating in space somewhere. It's a living organism. It's a living body that has within it a living conscious spirit called Gaia. And this living body is having similar features to our human body in very specific ways. Actually, Gaia's elements, the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the ether, the five elements of this planet that are specific, to our human body, are literally close connected to the elements of our physical bodies and to the elements that are governing our chakras, so our energy system. So, see how close we are connected to this planet and to nature. And we are literally made of the elements that this planet is made of. And the things that we extract from the body of this planet, the petrol, the waters, the earth, the other minerals or rocks and so on, are the very fluids and components of this body. And if we are unconsciously using these resources the way we did for the past centuries, we are literally damaging the physical body of the spirit called Gaia. So, the physical body of Mother Earth. And that's the reason, and this is very close connected to our physical bodies and the damage that we do in the body of the earth that is sustaining us is reflecting in the damage that the physical bodies of humanity are having. So that's why humanity is so unhealthy and developing so many diseases, physical and mental. It's because of the way that humans are treating the body that is supporting them. And the more the elements of the planet get unbalanced, the more the physical bodies of the people living on it are getting unbalanced because it's all interconnected. So the body that you're having is made of the elements that the planet is having. And once you imbalance the planet, you are imbalancing your body. And there's no other way around this. This is how it is. So we must all become conscious of how we're treating each element of this planet, how we're treating the earth, how we're treating the waters, how we're treating the air, what we're putting out there, how we're treating, how we're interacting with the fire on the planet and the energy of fire, which is also represented by the physical fire, but the sun as well, and so on. And how we're also connecting with the ether element, which is basically the element that is holding the whole thing together. A more conscious approach to this in our day-to-day life. So we're not to expect the governments and the ecological companies and so on to do this for us. Each and every one of us, you yourself, have a constant contribution to either the chaos or the thriving on this planet, and also the chaos or the thriving of your physical body. Okay? Because they are interconnected. The elements of one are connected with the elements of the other. The body of the planet is connected to your body, and vice versa. So you're constantly sharing information between the two of you. And that can be either balanced and harmonious and perfectly healthy, or it can be fully chaotic as it is now for most of the people. So take a little moment to ask yourself, within yourself, how am I interacting now and until this moment with this planet? How am I interacting with nature? How am I, interacting with the through the garbage that I'm sending out, the the resources that I'm using, the things that I'm putting out there in terms of in water, the detergents that I'm using, the cosmetic products, and everything else that goes into the water and into the earth by your own personal contribution. So we're not talking about the nuclear centrals here or stuff like that. We're talking about our day-to-day contribution to the body of the planet. which is related to our body. So you can take a moment and reassess your day-to-day actions, you know, where you throw your oil, how you throw away your garbage, how you're using your plastic, if you're using one or more plastic bags, if you're throwing away plastic bags and buy plastic sockets for your garbage instead of using your bags for it, if you're doing, many people do nonsensical things with the resources on this planet because they don't take the time to look at this. So, and the detergents and the cosmetics that we're using and the cleaning products that we're using and everything is affecting the prana flow of the planet and the prana flow of our physical bodies, which are interconnected. I'm going to repeat that as much as I feel like, because it's never too much. Um, so reassess your life in terms of these aspects, and in terms of also what you're sending out as thoughts and emotions that are also going into the natural fields around you, and the body of the planet, and the general thought forms that are building on this planet. And think about this and reassess all this for more clarity and for more decluttering into your life. And you'll notice that once you reassess the way you behave every day in terms of your contribution, daily contribution, conscious contribution on the planet, we're not asking you to organize an ecological campaign tomorrow, or to go clean the woods, or to go clean the park next to you. Probably the people that are taking care of them are doing this. But we're asking to be mindful of your day-to-day contribution to the resources of the planet and to the balance of the planet. And we're going to soon make a list of the things that we can daily do consciously to diminish our negative impact on the planet and on our bodies as well, because they are interconnected. So connecting with nature and increasing the prana flow can start with that, reassessing your daily actions and how you're impacting nature now, and how you could change your daily actions to have a better relationship with your natural environment. That would be the first step. The second step, like I said before, as I see new ones, I'm going to make a wrap up now. The second step would be to step away as much as often as possible. Step away from your electronic devices and your concrete boxes wherever they are, and to step out in the parks and step out in the woods or the forest, or near a lake nearby, or wherever you can, just to take a break whenever you can. So it can be half an hour after work, and don't tell me you don't have it, because I know you have it. Cut down on the Facebook time and you'll see how much time you have to do the other things that are beneficial for you. I'm not judging the ones who are participating, but I know that there's a lot of Facebook time going on, and a lot of Twitter time and Instagram time going on, and YouTube time, and then live videos time going on out there. And I'm just saying that maybe some of us could cut down on that if it's not life saving for the people around you, or if it's not something that literally changes the awareness of the planet. Just step away a little bit and step out in nature. If you have a pet or a kid, that's better. That's even better. You can take them out. Actually, I spend about 2 hours today, 1 hour and a half maybe, between the healing sessions, playing out with the kid and the rabbit in the park. I went to take out my rabbit and to take him for a walk, and there are many kids that join us usually, and I chose to prolong this this time, even though I had a lot to do at home and with this webinar and so on, I chose to prolong this because that kid was so joyful and blessing us with so much positive energy that nothing else would matter that much for for that moment. And even though you see me doing all these projects online and all this movement into the pranic world and into the holistic world and so on, I still diligently take time to go out in the park, to go out in nature, and to connect with people, and especially children that are out there and that maybe need a kind word or a smile or just some playtime with not too much talking. And it's so amazing uh, um, in terms of the value that it brings in my healing activity and in my work in general. So I invite you to take that time. You know, if you have a pet or a kid at home, don't think that you cannot go out because you have the kid. Take the kid and go out with him or her and play. Play as much as you can. And this is nourishment. So before I got out in the park, I was a little not hungry, but I was feeling to take something, maybe a chai or maybe something, you know, to warm up my body or you know for emotional comfort and so on. Once I got out and spent some time doing sun gazing and doing connecting with the earth and the plants and the pets and the kids around, I was literally so nourished and so full of energy that I did not need anything else after that. So, literally, it was not only energy food, but it was food for my body as well. So, for those of you interested in the pranic lifestyle and diminishing the food quantity, do as many activities as possible that are nourishing you on the inside, from the inside out. You know, emotionally nourishing you, or even spiritually nourishing you, and also mentally nourishing you. Do as much of it as possible and you'll find yourself having so much more energy for your work and your projects and your family that you wouldn't even imagine. So people usually think of not going outside, not spending time in nature, or not taking time for play and have fun with each other because they think they have a lot to do and a lot of jobs to take care of or a lot of family tasks and so on. But actually, the reasons why they're taking so much time with these tasks is that they don't have enough energy or they're not operating at their highest and best capacities. While if you take time for yourself and you take time for fun and recalibrating and re-energizing and connecting with natural elements, you'll have so much more energy and so much more clarity than that the task that you would probably do in half a day, you'll just do it in 2 hours. And then you'll have more time on your hands and so on. So as you have more energy and more clarity for the projects that you're already doing, you'll do it in less time and you have more time on your hands to bring more energy, more clarity in your life and so on. So just practice that and see what happens. Just go outside every once in a while after work or in a lunch break or take a few breaks and instead of snacking, just do sun gazing. So I'm going into the next theme of the webinar, which is sun gazing. But before that, if there are any questions or comments, please feel free to use the chat box. I haven't seen anyone so far, or just very few of you, using it. So for the new ones, there's a chat box to the right of your screen if you're on the laptops, or below your screen if you're on the smartphones. Just use it. Type down your name and then country to just greet us and say hello to everyone, because it's cool to just say hi when you join in a gathering, even if it's online and we cannot see you. It's still, you've entered this energy vortex, this energy gathering. You've entered this group synchronization. So it's still like entering a door. So it's nice to say hi and say who you are and where you're from, you know. And if you have any questions regarding what we've shared so far, or any comments or something that you'd like to add, feel free to do that, because we're taking a hydrating break for just a moment. And also, hydration is so important for being able to connect with the natural elements, because the more you hydrate your body, the more the energy flows. I'm having some crystals on this chair, and I'm trying not to sit on them. That's why I'm doing this, and some pillows and so on. The more you're hydrating your body, the more you're circulating the energy through it, and the less food you need. So feel free to use as much liquid as you can during your day, at least 2 liters or 2 liters and a half, to balance the water element of your body. Otherwise, you're gonna go depleted. And when you go depleted, what your body usually does is it asks for sweets, because it balances the energy quickly, and the energy of the second chakra, especially, which is the water element chakra. And it also asks for food. So your body might not send you thirst signals until you're highly dehydrated, but it will send you discomfort signals that you're gonna take as hunger or the need for food or snacks. And that's why most of the people are eating without needing to eat, instead of hydrating their bodies. So once I started hydrating and using at least 3 liters, 2.5, 3 liters of liquid a day, not only the energy levels are very high naturally, and the energy is circulating differently in our body, but also I need I need almost no food. So I'm only using food when I have to socialize, or when I have to synchronize my energy to a certain energy field that is denser. But otherwise, I'm not hungry while I'm using liquids or fruit juices and so on. So the more you hydrate your body, the more the water element, which is a pretty a pretty big percentage of your body, the more it is balanced, the more the energy flows harmoniously, the prana flow. Okay, and I'm getting to the sun gazing part, because I know you're waiting for it. But I had to talk about the hydration before, because you don't want to do sun gazing without being hydrated. If you're doing sun gazing and you're already dehydrated or not hydrated enough, you're gonna get even more imbalance. So you wanna hydrate your body before starting. For the new ones who do not know what sun gazing is, this is a practice of gazing at the sun, or looking at the sun, or watching the sun during the morning hours when it's sunset, or during the sunrise or sunset. So either in the morning or in the evening, when the sun rises or it goes to sleep, you want to have at least 4 to 10 minutes of looking at the sun. And the practice is imagining, or acknowledging, being aware that you're that your body is taking in this energy via the eyes, taking it into the pineal pituitary glands, and then taking it in as energy for the body. And what it does for the body is amazing, from healing in illnesses and eyesight problems and digestive problems, to purifying the energy field, to increasing the brain's capacity to levels that you wouldn't imagine. Actually, in this theme, they measured the pineal gland of someone that is doing a lot of sun gazing. His name is Hiraratan Manek. Is a pranic teacher that is doing a lot of sun gazing, and they have noticed that his pineal gland was way bigger than a normal sized pineal gland, which means that the brain is operating at a much higher capacity and at a much higher speed that a normal brain would do. And it also means that the healing capacities of that being are far beyond the regular capacities of a human being. And that's what sun gazing does. And you might want to try it out. I personally have healed, uh, with various techniques, but also sun gazing has helped enough. I personally healed my eyesight, so I'm not no longer using glasses now. And also, I've healed a lot of the digestive issues and then the third chakra issues that I was confronted with by doing sun gazing, because it has such a purifying power. And the why you're seeing me looking down is because I'm looking into this book. It's the new book that we've just launched called the Pranic World book. I'm looking into it because I'm having an article here about the pineal gland and about how sun gazing is increasing the brain's capacity and the melatonin production and so on. So, it's a lot of research here and a lot of information that is useful to explain how these simple techniques are increasing not only the pranic intake in the body, but also the pranic consciousness. Because once the brain has different ability has increased abilities, then the consciousness is at a much higher level. And we've included some scientific research here and scientific information so that you can benefit not only uh, from the energy point of view or the holistic point of view of this knowledge, but also from the science based point of view, because we're now bridging them together to help people better understand how is possible that a person who is doing simple, very, very simple techniques, how it is possible that she or he has such amazing effects in her body, to the point where we don't even need to be nourished by physical food, or we're able to telepathically transmit information or perceive information or to remote heal people and so on. So the capacities of the human body are not yet fully discovered, not even by far fully discovered. And this lifestyle that we're recommending in the pranic consciousness process and the techniques that we're recommending are meant to heighten the abilities of this physical body that you're having to the from the limited to the limitless um, state of being. And what we're doing actually with the pranic conscious process is helping you uh, become or discover your limitlessness. Okay, so back to sun gazing, because it's an important part of the limitlessness where you're literally connecting to the fire element or the light element of the sun, which is one of the most refined um, aspects of the fire element of the planet. You're connecting to it and clearing and cleansing your system with it, and literally um, powering up to an infinite source of nourishment and energy that can power up your body. So you're plugging in an infinite source of energy that can power up your body. That is the sun, and that's what sun gazing does. And taking a few moments, in the morning. If it's not sunrise, maybe you don't wake up at sunrise. But if it's still morning, so not towards the noon because it damages your eyes and your body. But in the morning, if you're taking a little bit of time to just sit in the sun and watch the sun, you know, if it's not sunrise, then you have to not directly watch it, but a little bit below the sun, into the sun rays, and taking it in through your eyes, then your system will be fully recalibrated with just that. And you'll have so much more mental clarity, so much more um, intuitive revelations, so much more direct perception of what is, and so much more consciousness in your day-to-day life that you'll want to do this every day and even several times a day. I have my window here next to me, next to my computer. All I have to do is turn my head when I feel tired with my eyes sitting at the computer, and turn my head and look out, and the sun will instantly energize my body. And if I take just 2 minutes or 5 minutes every once in a while, it's a constantly recharging because we're batteries and we need the natural elements around us and within us to be able to recharge. You can't only recharge with food or energy drink or coffee. That is toxic, the toxic way of recharging, the energy drinks or coffee, I mean. It's so easy to now recharge with the natural elements. So sun gazing, a very beneficial technique, very simple to do, free of charge in any country. And if you're not in a country that is having so much sun, you can imagine this um, this huge um, astral force going into your body through your eyes, even if it's not, even if it's beyond the clouds. You can still imagine it and you'll benefit from it. I was in darkroom retreat for 10 days, so no light, just darkness. And when I needed sun gazing, I would sun gaze, without having the physical sun present in front of me, because the room was organized so that it wouldn't have any light. But I would connect to the sun and visualize the sun, and the sun was in my body instantly. And actually, we're going to do an exercise in just a few moments where we connect or the heart, the sun heart with our own heart, with the earth heart, and you'll see how powerful this is. But before we go further, I want to share what we've put in this book about the sun gazing, because it's important. I feel it's important to some of the people that are watching. So, this is about Hira Ratan Manek and the thing that he discusses in the Living on Light documentary. And we said like this: Manek discusses the practice of sun gazing, in which it looks directly into the sun only beginning at sunrise and continuing for 45 minutes. Where 45 minutes and it's the logistic thing. You begin with you gradually begin with just a few minutes, and you can extend to then 10 minutes and 20 minutes and so on until you reach 45. He's doing 45 because he's had a lifetime of sun gazing. We do not recommend anyone at the beginning to start with 45 minutes. You'll go nuts. So you don't want to do that. But this is his practice being so experienced, continuing for 45 minutes and starting 45 minutes prior to sunset. He states that a potential byproduct with engaging in this practice is the possibility to be able to live without ingesting food. Neurologist George C. Bernard, PhD from the Thomas Jefferson University and leading expert on neuroendocrine psychology, reportedly observed Manek in 2002. Alongside Bernard was neuroscientist Andrew Newberg, who is certified in internal nuclear medicine. The biggest takeaway in the study, from my perspective, was the reported measurement of Manek pineal gland, the thing that I was telling you about. According to this study published in the American Journal of Neuroradiology, the average pineal gland size amongst fully matured adults measured approximately 7.4 millimeters in length and 6.9 millimeters in width. According to the study conducted by Newberg and Bernard, Manek's pineal gland measured 11 millimeters in length and 8 millimeters in width. So, as you can see, it's 4 millimeters more than the average pineal gland in length and 2 millimeters more than the average pineal gland in width. So it's huge. And they continue in the study. The significance of Manek's pineal gland size is based on the potentiality for exuding enhanced overall pineal function, as well as the potentiality of potentially producing an elevated amount of melatonin in comparison to the average person. So, and they add that whether there is a correlation between his abnormally enlarged pineal gland, increased melatonin secretion, and his self-purported abilities to sustain himself without eating food has yet to be verified, they say. But it has been verified in other studies, and they have observed that melatonin is actually helping a lot with not feeling hungry and not needing physical food. And sun is helping a lot with producing melatonin. So they are interconnected. So what I'm saying is sun gaze, sun gaze, sun gaze. And you might take a look at this book on Amazon because it has much more of these studies on and of this scientific research on how we function internally without so much physical food. So sun gazing is one way of connecting to the natural elements of fire and sun and bringing it into the body. Another way, like I said, is play into the ground. Use seeds and tools to seed and plant flowers. You'd use gardening as a spiritual practice, because that's what helps you connect with the body of Gaia and to actually connect with the earth element of it. Another tool was using water to not only hydrate yourself but also connect to the water elements through being near waters as much as possible. It helps a lot because being near concrete is literally drying the body of energy. So stay as much as possible near water bodies, if possible flowing water bodies, so rivers or springs. It moves the chi in our bodies in such a beautiful way, and then it increases the level of prana in such a beautiful way that you want to be around them more because you're made of water 70 or 80%, and it's one of the most important elements of your body as well. Um, Connecting with air in a conscious way is not just breathing, but consciously breathing. So the air element that is corresponding to your heart chakra or your love place is so, so important because not only the air you breathe is important for your body, but actually also the way you are breathing it, the way you are bringing it into your body is also very important. So most of the people are breathing superficially, just in the upper side of their bodies. We're going to soon jump into an exercise where we're going to learn to breathe a complete breath so that we have full contact with the air elements through the air element in our body and help ourselves synchronize with that element. We're going to have that, and you can also spend time in a place where it's a breeze of wind frequently, like near the ocean or in a forest, which is in a little windy area. Not too much wind because it imbalances your bodies, but just learn to tune into the rhythm of the wind so that you can tune into the element of the air and bring more of it into your physical and energy bodies. And I've spoken about the four of the elements. The ether element has a more non-physical aspect, and it's more of a cosmic aspect to it. So the way you can connect with it is being aware that this planet is a part of the universe and it's actually floating in space. And the ether element is the element that is not only protruding the whole space and holding it together, but actually protruding every atom and element in this physical world that we're seeing. So being aware that we're 9999999.9% space, like Nassim Haramein is saying and also demonstrating in his scientific studies, and I love the 9999999 numbers. The being aware of that is connecting more to this element, or being aware of what you're made of. Actually, you might think that you're full and that you're matter and that you're dense, but what you really are, if you were to notice better, is 999999999 space. It's nine, actually 9.99999. But basically space. So you might want to reconsider your physicality from this point of view and see that you're not really as dense as you think you are, and not really as material as you think you are. And there's much more to your etherical quality than you would think. And once you tune in more with that etherical quality of yours, matter is at your fingertips and you can actually play with it. Mm, as in bringing your body to the shape you want it to be, and without much effort, or bringing your diet to the place you want it to be, and also bringing your consciousness to the place you might want it to be. So that's pretty much a wrap up of how to connect with the elements. If there are any questions or comments so far, I'm seeing new you gathering. Hello, all the new ones. Who are you and where are you from? Tell us in the chat box below or next to the video by writing your name and country or city. We're curious to see who else is joining as we go on. And should you have any questions or comments on the theme of tonight, feel free to also ask because we're happy to hear from you. Okay. Yeah, I forgot. This is also a workshop about silence, so probably you are practicing more of this now. Also, the ones of you who want to remain anonymous or not be seen by the others in the chat box, if you're joining from the webinar page that we're offering, you can be anonymous on the chat, and only I can see your questions. The other one, if anyone would, prefer that, uh, I don't see why, but there are some people who actually prefer to remain totally anonymous. You can ask the question without being seen by the fellow participants and also without being known by me if you don't want to, but just, you know, receive your answers. Okay. What nature also does for us is to connect us to the divine beauty and perfection. I've never seen in the human creation, and I've seen beautiful human creations along my life. I've never seen something so beautiful and so perfect and so perfectly functioning than the thing that universe or God has created. So to me, nature is the ultimate beauty and perfection. And we can learn from it in building beauty and perfection in our own creation. So it has always inspired me in so many ways, and it's so nourishing and inspiring to spend time outside and connecting not only to the elements of nature but to the very um, mm, aspect of the perfection and beauty of the divine that is to be observed in nature. And actually, many of my friends are reporting that out in nature they have noticed that they are part of something bigger and that there is something of divine in all this creation. So if you haven't found any other way to connect with God or with the divine or with the source of creation, nature is surely a very friendly environment for that. And it doesn't require you to worship anything. You know, the practice of the Tao, the way of the Tao is not about worshiping, for example, a god in any way, shape, or form, but it's about being one with nature and the natural elements. And I kind of like that because worshipping and devotion is good, but when it's taken to the extremes, it can move us away from our self mastery and from the awareness that we're also of the divine and we're also divine beings in human form. So, as much as I like honoring my light being friends and divine beings that are within around us and within this planet, I also like to be aware that only by and that it's enough to be out in nature and connect, like I said, to the beauty and perfection and the elements of it, and you are in God and you are in the divine and you are one with the divine, very in a very simple way. And that is a spiritual practice actually to for many spiritual traditions. So the beauty and the perfection of the divine expressed in nature. Okay. For those of you who believe in angels or spirits, natural spirits, and so on, it's a good place and way to connect with them and get maybe an energy clearing, some guidance. Sometimes you can ask the angels of nature, or when you're out in nature, you can ask to be connected better with your angelic friends or light being friends so that you get more guidance. That is why after a vacation you feel so much connected and so much uh, so full of new ideas, because there are actually a lot of beautiful light friends whispering to you all the time, but out in nature you can hear them better. And you can do, for those of you who do believe in these things, you know, do the simple exercise while you're going out to just ask that your light friends or the angels of nature, or however you want to call them, tune into you and guide you better, or just ask for your divine self to guide you better, and to clear your energy and to declutter your clarity so that you can hear yourself and your guidance more. And that's very, very helpful when you're out in nature. And yes, we have shared about the benefits of nature, and we have shared about the benefits of being outside. But what about what you are bringing to it? What about your contribution to the natural environment? And like I said, you're not all of you requested to start ecological campaigns tomorrow, or to start a movement of clearing the forest and so on. Even though I did that, and it's very, very, very beneficial for myself and others. But you're not required, all of you, to do that. But just could you go outside, and when you're out in nature, watch yourself to only have beautiful thoughts or a positive emanation? Could you imagine yourself to have love sun in your heart and radiate love out into the nature, going, letting it flow into the trees and the flowers and the forest and the earth and the waters? Could you do that, as an exercise or as a practice when you're outside? Just consciously sharing love with the nature around you, which is alive and conscious as well. Somebody was telling me this week, well, I don't understand why these people are hugging the trees, or they are saying that the trees are, you can sense something around them. You just feel good because you're outside, but a tree is just a tree. Well, my experience, I didn't want to contradict the person, because I'm not about arguing or challenging everybody's experiences. But my experiences with trees are that whenever I enter the space of a tree and I ask for the tree's permission to enter its space and to go near it, and it consciously responds to us, whenever I go near a tree and I put my back against it and I lean on it, the Ida and Pingala, the energy channels of our body, that are one to the left and one to the right in the yogic and Taoist tradition, they are very clearly represented. The Ida and Pingala centers are instantly starting to function perfectly. So the way the energy is moving up and down the body, that's what I mean, is instantly starting to function perfectly. And actually, the trees have taught me what the perfect flow of energy is, because they are a perfect flow of energy. They are deeply rooted in the earth, and still deeply expanded in the sky. So they are a perfect balance between the above and below, which you can notice in their shape as well. But if you can tune into them energetically and see the way the energy is flowing, it's the perfect flow. And if we all had this perfect flow of energy in our bodies, we would all be so healthy, so happy, and fully pranic without any need of taking physical food, because it's prana that nourishes us, actually. from the food or from nature, but it's still prana. So the more you refine it, the more you refine the flow, the less you need to take from the outside. So what else? And I was sharing that it's so beneficial to go out and tune into the natural elements, but also be aware of what you're bringing out, what you're bringing to the table, so to speak. So when you're in the forest or in a garden or in a park or near a river, could you share love? Could you send out light from you, from the cells of your body or from your heart more easily? Could you send gratitude thoughts and positive thoughts to the natural elements around you for the fact that they are supporting your life here on earth and of course the life of all of us? That's a huge contribution, and you'd be amazed of how they respond to you. Because once you send something out that is positively impacting the natural field is instantly coming back at you with that love and that positivity. It's already doing this, naturally on daily basis. But once you send out positive energy, it comes back to you instantly. Because that's what nature does. It mutually, beneficially shares energy with us. And we're the ones who are not sharing energy in a mutual beneficial way with it. Where most of the people are just taking, 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 taking. The oxygen, the water, and so on, and not giving back, not even a thanks, not even a gratitude emanation. And please note and know that nature is alive and conscious. They're not just trees, they're not just rivers, they're not just dirt or ground, they are not just air, they are conscious mm, mm, energy flows that are consciously interacting to you, with you. Are you consciously interacting with them? That's the main question. So, hello to the new ones. We're here talking about how we contribute and how we exchange energy with nature. And for those of you who have not been with us so far, feel free to use the chat box to the right or below the video, depending on where you're watching, to just write your name and say hello to us, for us to know where you're from. Yeah, questions or comments so far? Are there any questions or comments to what we've just added? Okay. We highly recommend a movie that I've liked a lot, about a conscious society that is so beautifully connecting with nature and so amazingly benefiting from this interaction. The movie is called La Belle Verte, or The Green Beautiful, and it's made in some while ago. In 1980 something. So it's an old movie, but very, very, very beautiful. And I'm sure many of you will like it, and I'm pretty sure many of you will cry watching it. It's not a drama movie, but it's so beautiful and so much beauty in the harmony of that society that we can learn from, actually, a lot. So see if you can find it or buy it somewhere, or I don't know where it is to be found right now. It was on my blog at the at the movie list that I have there, but I don't know if the link is still available. Anyway, just check it out and see what you feel. And I was referring to what you share out in the nature. Well, I am now moving to the silence part. When you're out in nature in silence, you are benefiting much more from your time in nature because people are in a constant chatter in their heads and in their laptops or devices, and then in their verbal expression of in words, they constantly chat to other people or to themselves and so on. And that's not helping you stay centered. But when you take a day of silence, consciously taking a day of silence, not because the friends haven't called, you are increasing this level of awareness inside yourself, but also resting your mind and your even the vocal cords from the effort that they are doing daily to constantly chat to other people. So giving yourself this rest once a week for one day or half a day, that also includes not chatting on the chat, usual chatters that you use, WhatsApp and so on. So it's total silence. That would bring a lot of benefits. I'm practicing Mauna or silence since 2010 or 2011. I'm constantly trying to take one day a week of silence, one full day. Sometimes it goes to one day and a half or 2 days, if possible. But these days, it's mostly been one day. And the way it helps my throat chakra, which is used a lot, as you see, and the way it helps my mind to clear out, and the way it helps also my physical body to rest, because it takes a lot of energy to speak to other people, either verbally or in written. It takes a lot of energy. You have to constantly interact with their minds. You have to constantly think of what to reply back, and that's an energy consuming factor. Once you are taking this time of silence, you are bringing back that energy to your center, so recentering yourself, and also giving yourself the gift of not having to respond that much, and the gift of freedom, of not being entangled in the story of um, emergency answers that all the people are in right now. So one day is a day of silence. If you can't take one day, one full day, you can take two halves of days. So for example, today until noon and tomorrow until noon, as much as you can until noon. And make a habit that until noon you maybe do something else than speaking. Maybe a spiritual practice, maybe some tasks that you have, around the house, clearing your house, doing some administrative tasks, paperwork. So things that do not require speaking. If you don't, if you can't dive deeper into the spiritual practice for half a day, but things that do not require your speaking, or the cooking, you can do the cooking, you can do the washing, you can do the lining, things that would not imply speaking, and organize your day so that you can have these moments of silence and a larger period of time, all together during your activities. And then go and, for example, when I finish, I just open my laptop and the chat on my phone and so on, and start the way I said, going out into the world. Of course, I find a pile of messages and so on, but that's no emergency to me, because I know that when Spirit has chosen for me to be silent, there's no emergency out there, and I can be silent. And the universe aligns to what I request for my rest and for my recalibration, to then be able to healthily and happily interact with it when I'm done with my recalibration. So use one day or half a day of silence. And if you can be in nature in that half a day or one day, it's even more miraculous. And I'm not saying beneficial, I'm saying miraculous, literally. I'm not exaggerating. So the things that can spring out from that just half a day of silence are just amazing. So all the creativity that you see around the internet with the books and everything we do are the result of actually us taking a diligent spiritual practice, and especially time in silence in nature has helped a lot. So you might want to try it out, and it's not difficult. Once you organize your day in a smart way, so so that you wouldn't have to speak for at least a few hours, you'll see that this is possible. And even if you have a family, you have the right to remain silent. Like they say, you have the right to remain silent for half a day. You just say that your voice is tired. You don't even have to refer to a spiritual practice if they can't understand, but you just say that you need to rest your voice, or you need to clear your mind, or you need to do something for your overall energy. You've read an article that says that it brings more energy or more, it helps your immune system and so on, because it does, it actually does. So whatever you want to say, but just do it. Okay. And there's actually several layers or levels of silence. you know there's the physical silence when you don't speak and you don't write messages to other people, and that's the first step, and it's hugely beneficial. There's the emotional silence where so the next level, where by not engaging so much in conversations, you don't have so much emotional um, mm, events, in your day. So for example, you don't feel that much surprised when a friend tells you something, because you don't check your email in that moment. You're not feeling so much worried when another friend tells you something else. You're not feeling so much joy when somebody announces their wedding, and so on. So you having an emotional rest from the imprints of all the other people. Of course, you're still connected, you're still feeling much of it, but you get to at least detach a little bit from it. And the next level is the mental silence, where after silencing your voice and your written communication, after silencing a little bit of your emotions, and not being engaged in so much emotional um, turbulence during the day, you go into the mental silence. So the mind is finally allowed, by not having so much activity, is finally allowed to rest. If it doesn't have to constantly engage in answering or responding to other people, if it doesn't have to constantly in identifying and labeling emotions, it might have some time to rest as well. And the mental silence is the most amazing silence of all, where you feel the right to just be without any other um, thing to do. Because your mind is not constantly dragging you to the left and to the right and telling you maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, maybe you should, keeping you in a constant busyness. It's allowing you to rest by resting itself. So the three levels of silence. Any questions so far? Anything you might like to add, ask, or share from your experience? What's your experience? Have you ever practiced Mauna or silence? Do you often go in nature? And if you don't, why do you not? What are the main reasons? Just type in the chat box. What are the main reasons that are keeping you from going out when you would like to? When you would like to spend some time? uh, connected with the natural elements. What are the things that don't that trick you into staying in? Let me know. Anyone wanting to share? What are the things that are tricking you into staying in, tricking you into staying away from nature? even when you want so much to do that. What's keeping you? What are the thoughts or the events or the, whatever processes are happening when you finally decide to take a break out in the park, and or you haven't even decided yet because you're having that much to do or that much activity. Okay, so again, um, I'm thinking before I go into the guided exercise that I promised for tonight, of course, I'm going to be sharing who is guiding, who is supervising this webinar. As I shared at the beginning and in the other webinars, because there's 8 webinars to the pranic consciousness process. Each webinar is guided, each technique or method is guided and recommended by an ascended master. So there are 8 ascended masters that are supervising or taking care of us, or watching down on us during the webinars and between the webinars as well in our daily activities. 8 ascended masters that are contributing to uplifting the evolution of humanity, and each one of them has recommended a theme or a technique, a practice, however you want to call it, to increase the pranic flow. The theme of tonight of using silence and in nature for increasing the pranic flow is recommended and has been practiced by Saint Francis of Assisi. Those of you who do not know Saint Francis, it's a saint who is coming from a very rich family of Italy. And because he was feeling called to step away from the family business or the family ways in general, he retreated for a long period of time out in nature. Leaving aside the richness of his family, leaving aside the threats of his father, and so on, so nothing has stopped him. That's where I'm getting, because I asked what is stopping you from being out in nature. Nothing has stopped him. He left his home, he left everything, and he had spent so much time in prayer in nature. The end result of it being a heightened state of consciousness, the ability of remote healing, and so on, but also the ability of communing to the animals telepathically. So he was literally hearing their voice, so to speak, and he was able to know what they mean and what they want to transmit. And being out in nature in wilderness, where he has chosen to spend his prayer time, he was being actually nourished by the animals in the forest. So they were bringing him food when he needed it, because they were aware of his state of consciousness and of his divine presence and of his light within, so to speak. And they were treating him, very, very beautifully. We recommend, for those of you who do not know him, we recommend that you read about the life of this character, because he's an iconic character in the holistic realm, and he's helping a lot with raising the consciousness of humanity. And the theme he recommends is silence in nature, because that's what he practiced for so long. And he has reached, like I said, such a high state of consciousness, of cosmic consciousness, actually. And some other friend of mine shared that after spending 3 years in nature in a van, studying, he did not need that much physical food anymore, and even water. So even though he was in the desert, he did not need he did not need much food or water. He has reached a very high pranic state just by being there and by studying and by spending time outside as much as possible. So you see, it might seem unimportant or too simple to be true, but the results of the people who have practiced it are pretty important. And I know for myself because I spend a lot of time in nature and I spend a lot of time working with the energy portals or vortexes. So I go to the main energy vortex in the countries and on the planet, and my presence there helps clear and recalibrate these places. And I also am recalibrated back by being present there. So it's a mutually beneficial exchange, a mutually beneficial interaction that has brought so much value in my life that I might say no other technique has brought so far. So it's the easiest, most rapid, and I wouldn't say most efficient, but very efficient way of tuning into the pranic field. Okay, so I feel we shared a lot of information. I don't see much curiosity from you, so I'm guessing it's all beneficial, all good, and there's not much to add. So, since it's not much to add, you still can use the chat box and add whatever you want to share with us, because we're still open to the end of the webinar and even after. Somebody is very happy about Saint Francis. Yes, yes. Silence is amazing, and you can notice the effect on silence in nature and even in your home. If you're not able to go out, you can do silence in your home if you're maybe away from being outside. But wherever you are, just practice it, and you'll notice the results. So if there are no further comments or questions that you would like us to reply to, we're now going to move into the promised guided exercise or guided meditation. We have promised you to have a Christed energy meditation at the end of this webinar. And as we're coming toward the end, we're now inviting you, for the ones who want to participate, we're now inviting you to join this. And just by following your breath, maybe closing your eyes if you want to visualize better the suggestions that we send out, and start breathing in and out in a gentle pace, just following the air going in and out your body. Let's start synchronizing with the air elements in our environment. And if you are with your eyes closed or opened, it doesn't matter, you can imagine that you have a light column from the center of the universe to the center of the earth, all the way around you, like a cylinder with the diameter like your hand stretched out. So a large light column coming down from the center of the universe to the center of the earth is now surrounding you. And it's recalibrating your energy, nourishing and cleansing your energy systems. And as you breathe in the air with the love from this light column. And as you breathe out all the worries, the tensions, the concerns, everything that no longer serves you, that you might have in your body or your energy field. And we ask that only the light beings that are of the most beneficial for sharing can join us and be present with us now. So only the light beings and the energies that come in the most beneficial, mutually beneficial sharing can join us and be with us now during this exercise and during this night as well. We made this intention of setting a filter to who is joining the gathering. And you breathe deeply, allowing the air to go into your abdomen as you breathe in, without pushing it, just letting it flow there. And you exhale deeply, allowing all the worries or tensions to go out. And as you are in this light column, just tune into your heart chakra, the center of your chest, the heart area. And just imagine that you're breathing in and out the air from that light column right into your chest. And visualize that you have a connection cable from the center of the universe coming down to the top of your head and down into your heart. And see or sense this connection cable nourishing you with the energy of the central sun or the center of the universe every time you inhale. So you sense this connection cable fueling you with energy through the top of your head into your heart every time you inhale. And when you exhale out everything that no longer serves you, knowing that it is transmuted and transformed in this light column, which is pre-programmed to do that. And as you are centered into your heart and you sense this connection cable that is coming down from the center of the universe into your heart, you notice your heart is expanding and growing bigger and brighter with every breath, and you allow to feel connected to the heart of the universe through your physical heart and through your heart chakra. With each inhale, you bring more of this light, this love, this Christed energy into your heart chakra through the top of your head, through this connection cable at the top of your head. You feel your heart vibrating and you feel this love going also into the feet and the lower chakras. You feel it go into the perineum, feel it go into the roots. It goes down through your feet into the soles of the feet, and as you build roots from the soles of the feet, it goes down towards the center of Gaia. And it literally absorbs this energy of the transmission station that you are, transmitting love from the central sun into this body of Gaia through your physical body and energetic heart. So letting this energy of the central sun increase your level of vibration, your level of awareness. You let it just flow. You might also increase your pranic intake. And as you breathe more of this energy into your heart and feel recalibrated, just know that you are now connecting to the Christed energy, the energy of the Christed one, the one you call Jesus, but that has been manifested through so many types of energies on this planet so far. And as you are fully present in your body and fully nourished by the energy of Mother Earth through the soles of the feet and by the universal energy through the top of your head, you mix and connect both of these energies into your heart, synchronizing the masculine and feminine, the yin and yang, in such a natural way. And then you allow yourself to connect with this presence. And you can visualize it like a light presence in front of you. You can visualize it with the image that you have of the Christed one. You can visualize it in whatever way, shape, or form you're comfortable with. But just feel that this beam of energy, this light being, is in front of you as the Christed one. And feel or sense or imagine that you are connecting crown chakra to crown chakra, imbuing yourself with this Christed energy into the top of your head. Then you connect brow to brow chakra, feeling imbued by the wisdom and power of what Christ energy means. Then feel yourself connecting throat chakra to throat chakra. You might visualize like a cobalt light, blue cobalt light, emanating from this being into yours, connecting to you. And feel how your body feels in this connection. And if your mind wanders, bring it back and bring your awareness to the being in front of you, asking to connect with the Christed energy, Christed essence of it. And feel how it is to feel the promised discovering of the Christed within. And at some point, you might want to connect heart chakra to heart chakra, opening your heart to this fabulous love energy that the Christed energy is emanating. The energy of divine love embodied in physical form at once, as it once was. The energy of divine mother father love, as holy and profound as you can also be. Then you let this energy flow as well in the lower chakras, imagining the Christed energy that is encompassing them in a ball of light, connecting your lower chakras to this energy field, this energy being, the Christed consciousness, allowing it to imbue your chakras with the purity and harmony of the divine. Then feel each chakra spinning with this new energy, this new light, this new prana flow. And feel how it is to feel connected to this power source of divine love that is present here among us to help us rise frequency. Allow yourself to receive. No judgment, no thoughts, just feel how it is to feel it. And know that each one of you is a light column sharing with this being of light in a secure way, in a mutual beneficial way, in a harmonious way, sharing energy, sharing Christed presence. And let your silence be your guidance into what needs to be recalibrated in your body by this energy so that you can have more of this pranic flow of divine love within you and around you every day and be nourished by it, guided by it, and be the physical representation of it on this planet as you promised to be. For the Christed energy is not something outside of you or something just one could manifest. But as promised and as announced, all of us have it within us. And it is available at just a blink of consciousness for you to be able to connect with it and remember what you truly are. As you are reminded now that your divine essence, that your true core is of love and is of Christed essence as well, divine love. So we complete this meditation or this sharing by bowing in front of this light being, Christed essence being, turning our energy within, knowing that this presence is within all of us now. We ask that we commune heart to heart, divine self to divine self, that we communicate divine self to divine self, and that we are all compatible, divine self to divine self, in this sharing, so that this is beneficial for all of us. So, namaste everyone, and nice to have been here with you. You can come back anytime from this sharing, knowing that you're still in this column of light, that you can connect with this being anytime, the Christed presence, and that you also have it within you. Let me know in your comments if you feel called to how you felt this meditation or this exercise, if you felt anything special within it. We welcome you to also connect to our future pranic events that are coming close. So the pranic consciousness retreat in Marbella that will be announced soon. I'm just going to post the page of it in the chat box. The date is still to be processed. I'm going to post it here. and also the Pranic Festival in Romania, which is in August 15 to 19, that, where you'll be meeting more of us, more of the Pranic people on the planet, and the teachers that are sharing this knowledge or wisdom. And because we've talked so much about being in silence in nature, we're also recommending a Pranic portal event that we're doing each year, a trip around the main energy vortexes of Romania, where you can visit them, tune into them, meditate with them. We're having guided meditation every day right after the Pranic Festival. So I have posted the link to the Trip of the Sun next to the video in the chat box. I'm also posting the link to the Pranic Festival also in the chat box so that you can check on them and see if you feel called to join. We have created all these events for you to be able to get closer to this reality and have more of it, in front of you and participate to it and meet the people and touch the places and see everyone face to face, not just by books and in the other methods that are online. Also, feel free to tune in to the Pranic World book. You find it on Amazon, also as Kindle edition, and you can read all the details about the pranic research that I've done so far into how to increase the energy flow and what we've discovered with the people that we've interviewed, the pranic teachers of the planet, the masters that I've talked with, and so on. It's all in this book, and it's a part of a 3-book series. So the one that I'm showing you is the book of being free from hunger. The next one will be being free from fears, and the third one is being free from concepts, but they're still to come. This one is already available. If you want and still have some time, I can read you just a few um, pieces of the table of contents so that you can, tune more into what we've presented here. So we're talking about pranic detox and how to detox your body and your emotional and mental fields so that you can go deeper into the pranic state, and even being nourished by light. We're talking about the things that I've discovered during the pranic festivals and during my private healing sessions with people that are on the pranic journey, because part of my work is doing healing sessions with people that are on the pranic path. Um, we're also having some insights about the pranic processes that are available all over the world and the end results of them, because there are, like I said, various pranic teachers, and I've worked with their students and I've worked with people that have joined these processes. So I know most of the end results that are available. We're talking about, like I said, scientific data on pranic nourishment, and so much data on how this body can be energized and nourished by light or chi or prana. And there are several studies all over the globe, and you can find more details on the Pranic World Book Facebook page on this, but also check on the book on Amazon. Um, We're also talking about the people that have been tested in hospitals that are nourished by prana, and they have been subjected to several days of testing, more than 10 days of testing, and they have shown great results. Of course, about the pineal gland, about the conscious breathing, the sun gazing, the life of a pranic person, of lifestyle and practices, the hormones behind the hunger or feeling nourished, the living without thirst, which is about people who don't even need liquids. We're talking about even bacteria that are nourished by light. We're talking about the pranic diversity and what we've learned from all the people that we've interviewed about their personal paths with prana. We're giving some tips about how to choose your pranic path if you're interested in that, and how to keep it safe as well. And I'm also sharing about my journey with prana that you can also find on the Soul Healing Academy website. And about the pranic portals and festivals, we're also sharing a lot. So you can find all this in the book. You can find the book online everywhere and all over the globe. It's available. The Kindle edition is easy to read, easy to access. And what else? Well, feel free to, and you might want, those of you who have joined on on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our list so that you are notified when we are having the next events, because there's a lot of free work that we're doing. There's a lot of also beautiful classes that we're doing. You can find them all in the events page of our website. So you're having the link to our subscription page here in the chat box. Just share your email, and we'll send information whenever we're doing a retreat around the world, or a festival, or a beautiful event with beautiful people that we're usually doing, or the newest articles or videos that we're having as well, and so on. So stay tuned to our information. Um, Feel free to also access the whole package of the pranic consciousness process, so all the 8 webinars, so that you can make the best of it. It's also available on the event page, and then I'll post it here as well. Each theme is amazing, each meditation is fantastic, each master guiding the theme is very closely working with all of those joining the process, and it's really a life-changing training that you can do from the comfort of your home. 8 webinars, you can watch them whenever you want. You'll get email support by me between the webinars. So it's an amazing way of learning new things and raising your vibration without any effort and at a very affordable cost. So just check on the link in the um, chat box and see all the resources that we've provided, and feel free to, whenever you want, connect to us on Facebook or other pages, just to share your journey or whatever it is that you need to share. Many hugs and blessings to all. I'm now going into my silence, and I invite you to maybe do the same whenever you feel called to. Blessings. See you soon.